This video is on DNA structure and function. It's usually the first section of the DNA chapter. We are going to skip over the section on all the different scientists. We'll talk about them separately. But basically, a bunch of scientists in various centuries came together and created the information that we kind of take for granted. These scientists discovered that the nucleic acid DNA stores and transmits the genetic information from one generation to the next. We're pretty good with that information now, but once they didn't know if it was DNA or if it was protein. So as we go on, DNA are used as the instructions for making those proteins. We need to remember that is the main purpose, making proteins. That's what this chapter is about. Proteins have many functions in our body, including muscle and bone, antibodies, transports, and enzymes. So these proteins are very important. We need to know the structure of DNA because that actually gives us how it does its job. So this section will look at the components. DNA is made up of a long molecule made of units called nucleotides. So this image here, this is one nucleotide. It has 3 different parts that are highlighted in different colors. We will be doing a lab on nucleotides and seeing how they fit together as described in this video. Nucleotides have 3 parts. The first is a 5-carbon sugar called deoxyribose. That provides the first section of the name. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. The second part of the nucleotide is a phosphate group, and the last is a nitrogenous base, of which there are 4 types. Adenine always bonds with thymine, cytosine always bonds with guanine. So these 4 bases and the order of them on your DNA is what makes you different from anyone else and any other living organism. It's that order that gives you your traits. So again, the base pairing rule. Adenine bonds with thymine, guanine bonds with cytosine. This is a very important rule to memorize for this chapter. So if you look, the bases do have a slightly different structure. Again, we will look at this in lab. Adenine and guanine are a little larger. Cytosine and thymine are smaller. They stay together with hydrogen bonds, which are fairly weak bonds. That's what keeps water molecules together. We know water isn't the strongest thing when you just spill it out on the floor. They will separate. So we can separate the parts of DNA fairly easily. So when you put it all together, it has a shape that's called a double helix. It looks similar to what a spiral staircase would look like. So on that, if you look at the sides of that ladder or the staircase, they are made of phosphate and deoxyribose, while the rungs or the steps are nitrogen bases. So this actual structure, the shape, was discovered by the scientists James Watson and Francis Crick. They are known, there's 2 guys in the picture, they're known for creating a 3D model of DNA and writing the paper. They basically compiled a whole bunch of information that other people found out and made sense of it. I know that one of them is still alive, and he gives talks on his the discovery. They did win the Nobel Peace Prize because it made such an impact on medicine and science still to this day. That is the section on DNA structure and function.